Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your elemental energy reading for the elemental energy of water. Water covers the zodiac signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So if you are Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or have water high up in your chart, then this message is for you. If you've never had your charts done, or you're kind of curious about some of the other stuff that goes with a chart, there's a link in the description for a natal chart, which also comes with a 10 to 20 page description of what all that means. It's not a sponsorship or anything like that. It's just a really good product. It's one I recommend to a lot of people when they're curious about such things. So you can check that out. Otherwise, we will hop right into our reading. I do read intuitively, so we'll read the messages either on the cards or from the book, and then see what else Source has to bring in. And water. This is interesting. I don't think I've had this happen in the same month before. You have the exact same hexagram that Earth had for this month. So let's see how much different this message is. We have number 44 for our water family, and it is the contact hexagram. And it's also contact as in intimate encounters, general meetings, friends, etc. So there's a lot of different meanings that can go along with this. And with this hexagram, it says contact, women wielding power do not marry. So what it basically says is this would be a unfortunate time for long-term relationship commitments like marriage. And I like how it's phrased here because they put a subtitle or a subtext with it. The husband would most surely be henpecked in a situation. So water, this is probably not a good time to make really long-term commitments, whether that is a proposal or whether that is business contracts, things like that. This is a good time for negotiation, but I would not personally, especially by the way this is sounding, make a firm commitment to long-term stuff right now. So we got our foundational line here, which is the chariot wheel is held with a metal brake. Persistence in a righteous course will bring good fortune. Those with goals or destinations in view will witness misfortune. However, even a lean pig will wiggle in its trotters. So right now, the chariot, I'm getting an image of the tarot chariot. So there is a bigger picture at play here, and it's saying you need to slow down, you need to pause, stop, and that's when it says the chariot wheel is held with a metal brake. This isn't really an option is what I'm hearing. You need to slow down, water, and it's not a bad thing. It's checking where you're at. You're missing something here. Persistence in a righteous course will bring good fortune. Keep doing the moral, the ethical, the proper things, the next steps specifically. Don't rush ahead. This is not a time for skipping steps. Really make sure that you're foundationally grounded in how you're moving here, because if you rush ahead where you could almost see the goal, you're almost there, you've got like one more thing, if you just cut this one corner, that's when misfortune's going to occur. So definitely take the time to do everything correctly this month, whether it is building a business, whether it is ensuring your future with a relationship, whatever it is, really take the time to make sure you know what you're doing, where you're going, what's going on here. It says even a lean pig is able to wiggle its trotters. Even if something bad happens, it doesn't mean that the outcome is going to be bad. It just means that there's going to be a trip and a fall along the way. And that's where we get into this energy of sometimes the universe pushes us to slow down because we're rushing ahead, and we might make mistakes that if we slowed down we could skip entirely. So our second place line is, there is a fish in the bag, no error, but it is of no advantage to the guests. So you are doing on your own really well. Things are actually going quite nicely for you because the fish is in the bag. In other words, you've got this, water. You know what you're doing. You know where you're headed. And you're actually moving at a good clip, even though the universe is saying slow down. What you're doing, though, is personal. It's of no advantage to other people. That really actually is a good thing because you don't have to involve them in what you're doing. And that's what I'm hearing with this one. Your third place, his haunches have been flayed and he walks totteringly, trouble no error. So other people, because in the second line it's like there's no advantage to the guests. Other people are being critical right now. They're being a little gossip girly, where I can't believe they're doing that. That's their problem. And that's where your haunches have been flayed, but you're still going. Even though these other people are being lippy or they're trying to slow you down, you keep going. It doesn't really matter what's going on. You're still going to progress. Universe is saying, don't miss anything, pay attention, and everyone else is kind of being ruthless, but you're still going forward in that righteous persistence, meaning you're doing what you need to do, and it really doesn't matter what they think, and that's why there's no error implied here. Our fourth place line, no fish in the bag. This gives rise to misfortune. If you happen to, this is a heads up kind of a situation here, if you happen to allow other people to start dictating what you're doing or influencing your path really strongly, this is where you're going to lose your quote-unquote fish. You're going to lose your goals. You're going to lose your destination. And that happens, if that happens, you will lose your path for a moment. It's not saying you're going to lose it forever, but it's definitely saying if you let those other people's opinions really get to you, it's actually going to trigger a negative response for you. Our fifth place line, the meddler leaves wrapping the melon hide its beauty. Something falls from heaven. If you've ever raised squash or zucchini or any of that kind of stuff, the leaves are really thick on top, but it also protects the plant. It protects your crop from the intensity of the sun. So these leaves wrapping the melon hide its beauty because the beauty needs to grow in secret. What you're doing needs to be dealt with quietly. You're growing things, and water, the impression that I'm getting is what you're doing is actually going to be pretty transformational for your own life, whether it's a spouse, job, whatever it is you're building right now, could be just a spiritual pursuit, is going to be massive. And when it occurs, when it comes to fruition and ripes, everyone's going to be like, whoa, where'd that come from? But it's right now, it needs to be hidden. It needs to be away from that intensity of the sun. Something falling from heaven. These are, you can call them spiritual downloads. You can call them aha moments. This is the stuff. By keeping it quiet, you're able to connect to that higher frequency. You're able to embrace these changes within, which is going to allow them to manifest without, in a way that you don't have to strive for it, which is perfect. Our sixth place, our capstone here, is it rubs against things with its horns, regret but no error. Things might get frustrating, and that's where you're rubbing your horns against things. And that's, if you've ever watched a deer or an elk, even on videos where they'll rub their antlers trying to get the velvet off, it's saying you're doing stuff that needs to be done, and it may feel frustrating and you're not actually achieving stuff to other people, but you really are. That's why there's no error involved. And cows will do the same thing. And I say cows because I've seen bulls and female cows with horns, depending on what breed you have. And they'll rub their horns on stuff because it's like it itches. There's something growing, and that's where you're at. Is you're growing, things are shifting. Other people may not understand what it is you're doing. They might be like, "Why are they doing that?" That's their problem. You know where you're at, and you know the success that you are building towards, and you're also not in a rush to lust for results. And that's what the universe is trying to help remind you of. Lusting for results is not going to work the greatest for you this month. It's definitely a call to slow things down, see where you're at, and make any adjustments, because right now is a good time to, especially if you are towards the end of water, which is like the Pisces energy, this is a good time for you to check on things. Pisces likes to get distracted. And sometimes you need a little reminder to be like, whoa. What is your goal here? What are you looking for? Are you still working towards that, or do we need to shift something? And that's the energy that's coming from the I-ching for this month of March. Now we'll hop over to our tarot and oracle cards. With that, I read week by week. There's approximately 4.5 weeks in March, so we'll do 4 weeks and a bonus week. And then each week we look at a guide or guardian, something to guide you through the week, or some energy to guard you from mishaps We have a message from Source, a supportive message or some information that needs to come through, and then we'll look at any clarifying information that comes from the tarot. So, if you're interested in any of the books or decks I'm using, they're linked to the description. Onwards and upwards. We have your first week's guide or guardian is Ascended Master Lady Nada, and your stone is rhodochrosite, and this is a card of sensitivity. My devoted heart is a willing, conscious, clear channel for spiritual grace. My growing sensitivity empowers me to experience the loving presence of the divine, to become a living light with tremendous compassion. My sensitivity increases in perfect harmony with my ability to process subtle energies and generate protective fields of spiritual light surrounding me and all others. I claim this space that I need to process my experiences and thrive. I trust what I sense and respond with wisdom. It is safe and wild and startling and incredibly beautiful to be a sensitive soul with higher awareness and frequency. This first week, your guide and guardian here are really calling you to remember what it is you're here to do. Water, you're the most emotional of the signs, but that also means you tend to be the most psychic or intuitive, depending on which words you prefer, of the energies out there. And that is a beautiful thing because it means you can be a healer without even trying. You are able to bring light into the world in a subtle way that people don't even realize you're doing it. So this first week is really about remembering the gifts that you came into this physical form with, remembering your connection to God, Source Divine, your guides and guardians. They're here for your support, and they're here to help you remember the important things. This may be a week to do some past life regression, to do some backwards remembering so you can bring stuff forward, lessons, tools, skills, whatever is willing to come up. Don't force things this week, but it's definitely saying do some checking in, slow it down a little bit so you can actually see what's being brought forward for you. Your message from Source is the Violet Flame. This is actually a really cool message here. We have, as we deepen our spiritual path, step out of illusory constructs and become empowered beings. Life presents opportunities to grow more than ever before. Your sensitivity will be heightened, so it may be harder to spend time in places with certain kinds of energies or people. Do you have a range of accessible go-to practices for centering, cleansing your aura, and grounding? A routine for psychic fitness will keep your aura strong and resilient, your energy sovereign, your vibration high, and help you see through illusions that block or disorient or blatantly lie. Bring the violet flame into your meditation and self-care practices for grace and balance. The violet flame is actually a super powerful transmutation tool. If you've ever heard of the person Saint Germain, he was able to conjure the violet flame instantaneously because he had achieved a spiritual level of enlightenment. The violet flame changes lesser energies into higher. Some of the lore with Saint Germain is he could transfer a stone into a diamond. He could heal or fix, however you want to phrase that, any cracked crystal. He could transmute lead into the purest gold on the planet. These are the things that the violet flame can do, and when you bring in that violet energy, and if you happen to be a water with an indigo child energy, you already have this kind of a natural thing with it anyway. But if you can bring that violet energy into your aura, even for temporary, because not everyone can hold that, it's a little intense, it can change a lot of things within the body and the mind, even if it's only held for a second or two. So this message from Source is saying, be aware that your spirituality is the key. Your spiritual practices are the things that actually support you and allow you to create the shifts that I'm hearing water is really destined to do in this next month. It's not going to be grandiose, so outward movement. It's going to be because water's changing themselves, and that is triggering a mirrored response in the outside world to shift everything around them as well. So your clarifiers or your extras from the tarot is number 19. We have the sun. The solar energy was being supported by the moon down here, if you didn't notice that. The solar energy is all about growth. It's about projection. This week, your projection is actually starting from within. By the end of the month of March, I'm hearing you will be the one shining like the sun. You will have shifted yourself in a way that people who are close to you are like, what happened? Because you have moved that massively. But we're working on developing that inner light first. By doing that, you are able to be supported by your subconscious or the divine feminine. The divine masculine is what's going to be bringing the light out, because you're birthing a new creation this month, and it all starts the first week. That's just the first week. So, whoa, that card really wants to come out. Our second week's guide or guardian, we have the goddess Tara and Tibetan quartz, and it's Her Eye Ever Open is the title. I acknowledge that my inner light is growing stronger, brighter, and becoming more visible. I relax in the understanding that the brighter the light, the more powerful the spiritual protection. I shine fearlessly and true with respectful boundaries that honor the need for all beings to choose their own paths. I attract and emanate a high level of spiritual guidance, wisdom, and protection for myself and all beings. This second week is saying this is a good time to understand that light that's coming in. It's not just, I'm going to use this for everything else. You're bringing it into yourself. You're becoming a shining star energy is what I'm hearing. By doing that, it automatically is going to deflect a lot of the negative stuff. Like it said with the I-ching, don't give away your energy to other people. Like says, the fish is not in the bag, misfortune. It's because you've given your energy away. Bring your energy in. Bring God source divine, that light frequencies into your own body, because when you start to shine, they will absorb and be granted access to whatever they need, but it's not going to be a forceful thing. It is 100% graceful and gentle. The sun doesn't ask for payment for shining on others, and in this energy, your natural frequency that you're rising to is going to shine on its own. They don't need to come talk to you. You don't need to push it on them. It's just going to happen the way it's meant to happen. So your message from Source is our ancient future. Hold it up for you. An ancient remembering is emerging. Seed crystals and the knowledge they are imbued with are becoming unearthed. Those who see a better future are not just dreaming. Their hearts and minds are hearkening to the core of earth-based traditions, bringing through knowledge that will help shift the paradigm into balance. This card, and most of the cards in this deck, are actually light code infused, and that helps bring these activations through. It may be turbulent at times this month, but you will grow and heal through the coming journey. You navigate the situation with no experience by being truly present. Integrity and intuition are guiding you. This is where your guides and guardians are so important. This month, as I-ching even said, there could be some hiccups, there could be some turbulence, there could be some points where you're like, why is this happening? What is going on? That's happening because water needs to pay attention to what's going on because they're missing something. Or B, they're allowing other people to take their energy out. Bring your energy back, connect back in with God Source Divine. When you do that, you'll notice immediately that they were literally just trying to distract you and slow your progress down. Your progress is going to be slowed down a little bit by the universe this week, but it has nothing to do with stopping you or trying to deflect you. The reason the universe is doing it is trying to get you to pay attention that there's maybe something that's just not quite where you need it to be, and this is a good time to correct that. Your message your clarifier from the tarot is the Six of Pentacles. You may feel like you want to give up at points this week. This is really a reminder. Things may be turbulent or troubled, trying to give me both words at the same time, and that is not always the best option. When you can look at something from an observable standpoint instead of being in it, you realize, oh, that's not even my energy. That's not my energy craving calling me to give up. That's someone else. So this second week's tarot, the Six of Pentacles, is saying things may go through a little bit of a troubled time. It could be financial. It could be just energetic. Whatever it manifests as, this is a time for you to See what's going on. Acknowledge that there's something calling you to just give up. But water, that's not going to work. So don't give up. Keep going forward. When things start to get troubled, trials show up, especially in the second week, they're saying make sure that you are reaching out to your guides, guardians, reach out to God, Source Divine, whether you look at that as divine masculine, divine feminine, or a combination of that. Focus on those things, and it's going to help you withstand the slings and arrows of others. Your third week's guide and guardian is the goddess Persephone and Ruby. It is the inner queen. Divine wisdom empowers me to hidden truths, bringing them to consciousness. Healing shadows with the lights of love, I move freely through the realm of experience, honoring every aspect of life with compassion and grace. I hold the gentle light of penetrating awareness, so that all may be awakened to the divine love and receive the blessings that I have been granted. I am energized and motivated by the highest source of wisdom. I summon my inner dignity, grace, and wisdom, consciously choosing to live my deeper truth. As the light rises again, so do I. Persephone in Greek myth is married to Hades, so she spends half of her life in the underworld and half in the living world. You can see that as she goes down into the darkness, and in spring she comes back up into the light. So you have those time periods. When we're looking at this, even when we're going through cycles where things are going great, things are going bad, God Source Divine, the goddess, Lord and Lady, however you see it, are always with us. We never are truly alone. And when we start to understand that the darkness sometimes is for our own benefit, as much as we hate to do that, it's the shadow. It's going through those dark nights of the soul. When we come out, we've grown much faster and usually are further along our path than if we would have just taken the other route and not had those trials. Nothing grows without conflict. Nothing grows without friction. There's not a way to gently grow something. Seeds don't just pop up. They have to fight their way through the soil. Babies don't just fall out. They have to fight their way out of the womb. That's a graphics image, but it's not simple. Growth requires some struggle. That's the only way it's worth anything to us. If we didn't have struggle, and we didn't have contradiction, and we didn't have conflict for our spiritual growth, would we actually grow? Or would we become so complacent and lazy because things just happen that we would stop trying? And that's what I'm hearing with this one is Persephone wanted to live in both worlds, and so she had to find a way to deal with it. And her way was 6 months in one, 6 months in the other. How are you dealing with the trials and tribulations in your life? How are you bringing that into a balanced state where you understand the reason for it and the growth option from it? And that's an energy coming in this third week is you're going through this month and you're learning a lot. The second week, there's going to be a little bit of a pushback. And this third week is, are you going to let the pushback push you down? Or are you going to grow through it? Your message from Source is reclaim your energy. I love when the readings fall together like this. Our energy is our responsibility, and how we give it away becomes a conscious choice as we step into empowerment. It is possible to restore fragments of self that we gave away before we came into our full awareness. You have the power to own your own energy and choose where you're directing it. If you are not at your optimal vibration, consider the core of why. Detach from depleting influences, boost your positivity. It is up to you to make these shifts. Transform your life by choosing healing and self-empowerment. Kickstart the upward spiral to abundant energy and soul growth. This week is a self-care week. Do the things that make your soul feel alive. Whether that is going out and sitting in the sun, going for a hike, even if it's cold, or going for a drive just to enjoy a different scenery. This third week of March is really about you. You're coming to an understanding of why the dark stuff happens or why the dark nights of the soul occur, because it helps our spiritual growth. The message from Source is, just because you're going through those times doesn't mean you've been abandoned and doesn't mean that you're being punished. How can you use this to elevate yourself? What are ways that you can process these down periods in a healthier state and move into a much more positive and pleasant environment. That doesn't mean you're going to change everything, but it means how you're responding to it, your perspective can shift. And that is a huge thing that's coming up for water in this third week, is shifting perspectives. Things don't always have to go exactly the way we'd planned. Sometimes things get shaken up and it's like, oh, that's a way better option. And that leads us to the 17, I hate Roman numerals, which is the stars. I'm going to have to edit this for the online world. And when we have the star as kind of an added clarifier for this, reach for the stars. Even in those dark points of life, there's stars. There's no such thing as pitch black unless you're in a hole. And even then, I'm sure you can find light somewhere. But when you're out at night and it's super, super dark, and the moon is being in its new state, so there's no moon in the sky, there's surprisingly a lot amount of light, because the stars are there even in the darkest points. Your guides, your guardians, God Source Divine are always there, even in the dark points. So as you're going through this third week and you're reconnecting, you're understanding more about how to take care of yourself even in the darkness, you always have guidance in those dark times. You always have some support, even if you don't realize it. Sometimes the support's a lot bigger, and it's because we put glasses on and we can't see anything because of our choices. But that doesn't mean that God Source Divine isn't there with you, or your guides aren't there with you. That means you're choosing to not look for them. And this third week is saying, don't forget to look for them. They're always available. They're always wanting to help. So let's hop over to our fourth week and get ready to wrap up March here. Our fourth week guide or guardian is the angel Isda, and the stone is carnelian, nourishment. After going through one of those dark night periods, sometimes you need to feed your body and your soul. Growth requires nourishment. As I grow, I gain well-being and strength, becoming a more radiant light on this planet for the spiritual benefit of everyone. I recognize that in giving to myself, I am giving to others. I embrace my power of choice to nourish myself with what truly feeds and empowers my body, mind, and soul. I explore my own ways to be healthy, and I trust in my abilities to nurture myself as well as those around me. When we look at how this month is going, there's going to be some intensity, there's going to be some ups and downs. There's also some trials for growth purposes. This fourth week of March, I'm hearing that this is the time to do some recovery work. The third week was bringing your energy back, knowing that you're not alone, knowing that there's always support there. In this fourth week, it's now time to kind of recharge after all of that. And that's where they're saying, nourish yourself. Watch a funny movie, play with a puppy. Those things are soul nourishing. Eat healthier foods. Try to go, and this isn't health advice or anything like that, but go more organic, go more all natural. Find, like, if you are a meat eater, find meats that are grass-fed, free-ranging stuff. Find the things that support your physical body. The food we eat is something that we don't usually think about, but if the food we eat has been tainted, or if it has been caused harm in some way, shape, or form, that's going to not help our physical body. When we eat, we're ingesting energy as much as the food nutrients. So finding the things that are a lot more positive based is going to be more beneficial. And that doesn't always mean, I have to go to this severe, vegan, vegetarian. If you choose to do that, that's fine. That's your deal. But that's not the only option out there when we talk about ethics and morals and high vibrational food sources. And that's the energy that I'm getting right now, is find what works for you as far as a dietary shifts maybe, or what feeds your soul, mind, and body and elevates you through that. So it's definitely worth a little exploring. Your message from Source is the Home card. On our way home to oneness and the truest part of our infinite selves, this is knowing ourselves beyond the socialized matrix of mind-constructed reality. That's a sentence and a half. Okay. When all senses of flighty survival drop away, a deep sigh radiates from the safe space within. where you can ground dreams into reality. Deep heart-based presence is a direct portal to home. Align with your temple space. You have dreams, visions, and yearn for etheric realms, but it is when we are fully present in our bodies that we actualize these ideas to make a difference. Be grounded, find your center. The deeper your roots, the higher you can reach to the heavens. The ending of this month, kind of the wrap-up energy I'm getting here, is tapping into who you are. This third week was remembering that you aren't doing this alone, but the fourth week is bringing everything into focus, grounding yourself down. And when we really start to, because especially when the water, we want to be dreamy and escapish, bring that energy down into this physical form that we're carrying right now, these meat suits we're all walking around in. When we bring that energy in, it allows manifestation to occur, because the dream world and the physical is really separated by a very thin veil. So when we can take those daydreams and start to work them into our physical, we live more in the now moment. Things tend to occur a lot more rapidly for us. And staying grounded, when you're home at night, take your shoes off. When you are just walking around outside, unless you have some kind of, like it's cold or something like that, try to go barefoot more. That connects us so much more powerfully in our grounding. We can meditate and ground through that, which is awesome, but walking barefoot, being outside, touching dirt and grass, I know it's a really cliche thing to say, it actually does help to ground our energy and help us to stabilize better. It reminds us that we have a physical form and that this is where we live. That's cool. The energy outside and all the chaos going on, that's just part of life. But when we ground down into our physical form, it reminds us this is where we live and this is why we're here. So, our message from the tarot is the Nine of Swords. Just going to have to edit this one. There we go. There's a little bit of a drama queen energy is what I'm getting with this one. She's kind of flailed out there. It's saying that there's a lot of movement here this month. There's a lot of challenges that could be coming up for us. Nine of Swords swords are air, so you got this energy of intelligence or something that may be challenging a thought pattern or a process. And what I'm getting with this one is it's okay to allow something to pass away. If a thought pattern, if a mindset that you've carried for a lot of years is being challenged this month, this last week, as you reground in and you really set back into your physical, you may notice that there have been things that need to pass away, that need to leave. There could be some locked in patterns that you've held for years that don't serve you anymore, and this is a call to let them go. And when you're coming back into yourself, you're nourishing yourself healthy. You are working with God's Source Divine to really ground that energy in. When those things occur, you'll notice that there's times things have to pass away. Sometimes it's stuff that you've held a belief in for decades. And I'm not kidding. When you start to wake up to more of a real sense of self and a real sense of what the divine really wants to bring for you, those things tend to fall away because they no longer serve. And that's the energy I'm getting for this fourth week. Your fifth bonus week is the Ascended Master Helios, and the stone is citrine. Your time to shine. I accept life's loving invitation to shine with a cosmic soul-fed yes. My inner light is so powerful that it contributes to the healing radiance, peace, and higher understanding within this world. I am brave and bright. I am supported and surrendered. I have the power of love and light within me and around me. I give myself permission to delight and rest in the luminous sanctuary of my divine connection. I am the light. This fifth week, your bonus week here, is remembering what you've been doing shifts you drastically. Just like the I-ching said, by the end of the month, you're going to be in a really good spot. You're going to be shining. Things are going to improve, but it's not going to happen without a little challenge. It's not going to happen without a little bit of pushback. It's the universe saying, are you ready? Do you want this? And when things come to the conclusion after you've realized you're not doing this by yourself, you've got a group that's working with you, once you realize that your physical form is how we move through this world and reconnecting fully with that, The light that you have been bringing in this month will radiate out from you. Message from Source is the sound of the universe. This is a pivotal movement that transcends belief, reminding you of a greater reality and influence so that life will never be the same after this. This symbolizes the sound of the universe. Having your world shaken even a little can invite a clear glimpse of the greater mysteries of life. There are a myriad of ways to peek behind the veil of the mundane, or the muggle world if you'd like. There's things like ecstatic dance, spiritual exploration, and creative pursuits, to name a few. Aim to imbue your awareness in your everyday existence so you avoid the sudden wake-up calls. You're basically going to be more awake to these just in general. Listen for the music, harmony, and wonder of your multidimensional world. When we start to live in harmony with God, Source Divine, our guides, and our physical form, the universe becomes so full of magic and potential. Joy just becomes part of life. And that doesn't mean that giggly, hee energy. It's the energy of, I'm at peace and I'm happy. It doesn't mean you have to be giggling and laughing. That's not how that works. It's that peaceful joy, that joy of, I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. I get why I'm here. Even if things don't go the way that I think they should, there's probably a divine plan, and let's see how this plays out. It's the magic of the mystery that makes life so much fun. It can be really scary at times, don't get me wrong, but when we start to radiate that divine light, when we really connect to our physical forms, that song of the universe becomes something that we hear and we dance with intuitively without ever thinking about it, because it is such a beautiful, easy thing to do. Your last of the tarot is the Nine of Pentacles. We had 2 nines and 2 pentacles. That's pretty cool. So Earth and the number 9 could be really powerful allies this month. We have the Nine of Pentacles. It's all right to take rest. Don't worry about past. Don't worry about the things that you cannot control. This could mean that there could be some financial shakeup this month, but it's what needs to happen for the moment. It's not going to be a long-term thing. It's also saying that you may experience things falling away, just like with the Nine of Swords that was saying there's things that have to pass away at this point. The Nine of Pentacles, I'm getting this impression that it might be something that you actually really valued that's being let go. So you're going to have a period possibly of a little bit of mourning, like, oh man, I really didn't want to lose that, but oh well, because it no longer served your purpose. You were kind of toting it around because it looked cool, but not because it actually did anything. And this is the energy this bonus week is saying. It's okay to mourn the things that you've lost or the past, because those were important to you at one time. Now it's time to let them go, and if that requires tears, allow those tears to flow and allow it to pass outside. With that, I will wrap up this reading. I hope water has an excellent month of March. Might be some challenges there, but that helps us grow. With that, I will let you guys go. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, drop some comments, thoughts, opinions. As long as they're respectful, that's all we can really ask for. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.